My name is Shilpi Sharma, currently pursuing masters at IIT Guwahati. This podcast discussion is separate from my research here at IIT Guwahati. I'm trying to provide you information at zero cost. Here I invite people from different domains to share their expertise and knowledge. Be smart what you are consuming because you are responsible for your well-being, not me. So let's start today's podcast. I hope it will be beneficial for you all, including me. Welcome to DWHR, which is Discussion with Human Resource podcast. I'm very happy you're here. How are you, ma'am?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to ask regarding this topic which we are going to discuss going forward. So I have a lot
Right.
of question on what is about sexual violence and sexual assault, especially the coping mechanism going forward and changes in general.
Right.
So we can start with this. And before going to this discussion, I would really appreciate if you can tell us about your early journey, like where have you started, what was your, birthplace and your schooling and about your parents. So maybe we can start with that.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for providing me this platform. And my name is Vineeta Asthana, and I'm born and brought up in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. And my schooling is, of course, and college is done there. And then I came to Delhi for my higher education to pursue journalism. And I started my career with journalism, right? So I started with a newspaper, then I moved on to television news. And in 2006, I thought whatever I had studied, was actually not applicable in that time of journalism, in that era of journalism, and even today. So I thought, why not switch? So from active journalism, I switched to passive journalism, I would say, and I got into academics and I started teaching journalism aspirants in various institutions in Delhi and NCR. And now, currently, I am working with IIT Delhi. This is the Government of India project, and I thought, let's explore something other than what I have been doing in mass communication, that was majorly journalism. So from journalism, I shifted to PR, and it is about international PR, about the fellowship that Government of India is offering to ASEAN countries. So now I'm managing that.
Okay, it's going very good. And I mean, if we can go back, I mean, was there any restriction, sorry, to choosing your journalism career? Because I mean, I guess during your time, it would be like, many parents would be interested to joining science background or maybe some other field rather than journalism. So was there any restriction or it was a smooth for you to take this decision?
So I would say it wasn't that smooth, but not that a bumpy ride. Okay, so in our times, yes, it was compulsory for us to study science, and either you become a doctor or an engineer. So both my brother, they were PCM and they pursued their engineering. And I was a bio student and I pursued my, I tried clearing CPMT and all that. So I was told to actually prepare for the medical exams. So either you become a doctor or you become an engineer or you become an IS, right? So I wasn't interested in engineering, medical, or uh, you know, civil services. So I chose my line in graduation. I shifted to BA, which was not taken very well from the relatives majorly, if not my family exactly. But the family was convinced and I could pursue that. And after BA, I knew that I wanted to get in somewhere where I can talk, I can put my opinion across, I could, say what I want to say and not follow what I am told to follow. And that time I thought, journalism is the line wherein I would like to pursue my career. And I opted for MA Mass Communication. And from there, my journey into journalism started.
Yes, I totally agree with your opinion because as media has been considered as a third pillar of our democracy, and where we get the opportunity to put our opinion on various topics and themes, especially when we are part of our society here. So, could you share any memorable experience from your first day working at Deni Jagran and later at Indian Express?
So Dainik Jagran was a very sweet and nice place to start with, and there the computers were a new thing, right, that time, and trainees like me were not allowed to touch computers that time. So we used to write our reports, handwritten reports were submitted to the senior people, then they'll get it typed, and then it was published. So that was a different kind of setup altogether. But my first day as a reporter started in an express. And I still remember that day, you know. So I went to my boss, like, what you are taught that you have a newsroom. Every morning, you have a meeting there where you discuss the ideas about what you want to do that day, right? So you plan your day, you talk about the stories you want to cover, and then when it is approved, you go and you cover that story. This is what we were taught. And this is how with this mind frame, I entered reporting department of Indian Express. So I went to my boss, the editor, Vishwadeep Ghosh, and I asked him, boss, these are the stories I have in mind, and you tell me what is to be done. So he said, you choose. I said, how do I choose? You would know, your agenda, and you would tell me. I was like, no, go and crash.
Oh, wow,
I was
wonderful.
like, okay, okay. So that was my first day, and I did not know what to do, where to go, and I had absolutely nothing in my mind. Whatever I had in mind was actually the follow-up of some other stories. So I went straight to the ladies' police station. That was the new thing in Lucknow then, and I started in Lucknow only. And I sat there for a while, say for 4, 5 hours. And there I got my first story. And I came back, I wrote that story and I submitted. And that story was the anchor, bottom anchor. First day, I covered something. Next day, in the newspaper, that was a bottom anchor story. It was a big thing. It was the go and crash which allowed me to explore. And that was very interesting. There I learned do not always guide. You should always tell this could be done, that could be done, but let people explore, let them fly. And there they actually find new things, better things, and good news stories. And that was very interesting. That was my first day. And since then, it was always very adventurous, even in TV. It was always very adventurous. Every day, reporting life is very adventurous. I still miss that.
Yeah, sure. But can I can recollect, whatever you have discussed so far. Was it that opportunity led you inclined towards feminism, or what was the story behind? Because you are writing on the feminist concept, so it was an influence of that your journey started with very first day, your experience with the ladies police station, or what about it?
Right. So, about that story, I would like to tell you first. The story was it was the first ladies' police station, a women police station in Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah.
It did not have a single phone line. So, we have a police station. Women have got a police station, but they cannot reach out because there is no phone,
Yeah.
right? So, that was my first story. So what we were doing that time was we were tick marking everything. Things were done, but not in a way wherein those things could be utilized. Those resources could be utilized. There was a police station, but nobody could reach out. There were people, but they were not of help, right? So from there, yes, my journey started. Are we treating women only as a vote bank or somebody who we give some kind of appeasement, some kind of lollipop, and we just distract them with little things? So I started delving into the details. I started getting into the stories where I could find different span of the stories altogether. What we were looking at was different from what it actually was. So this could be you can say it feminism. I would say I was always looking for a equal opportunity for me and for other women. So equality is what I was looking at. So if you are given something to men, I would want that similar thing, same thing for women. Yeah, you can call it feminism. So that is a journey. Yeah, that's how it started.
Okay. So, yeah, let's move further. Could we discuss on your own marriage story? How was it? Was it love marriage, and how did you met with your partner, and how is it about since then?
Right. So I'm married to my best friend. It wasn't a love marriage, but I'm married to my best friend. And even in my stories, you will see this thing that I always prefer having friendship, having trust and respect in a relationship more than love. Love fades away. But if you have friendship, if you talk, if you have communication, that helps more, to grow together for the relationship. And if I talk about my marriage, yes, we have grown together. We got married really early. I was 23, he was 24 when we got married. And now it's been 20 years. And yeah, we grew together, and it was a lovely journey, actually. When you are friends with somebody, it is always easier, I would say, because you don't have to pretend, right? You are not trying to become somebody. You
Yeah.
are yourself,
Yes.
and that always helps.
Yeah, and it's really, I mean, if you see, and we always hear a concept on the friendship, like this is the best relationship ever we have. Like friendship
Right.
is a very good thing, which can be, exist in any kind of relationship, whether it's a father.
Because you don't judge, right? You
Yeah,
know each other. You understand that people are flawed. They have their ups and downs, and
yeah,
you accept them as it is. Where in love, you have a lot of, expectations at times.
expectations, right? Yeah,
And especially when you get married, you have your profile completely changes. Your KRA is changing, right?
yeah,
And when you get into a family which is not known to you,
yeah,
right? And you get a partner who you are, say, maybe head over heels in love with, you. Still, there are expectations of that relationships, and that at times create issues if you people are not mature enough to overcome little obstacles, small things. The teething, see, every relationship, like every business, every work, there are teething problems in every relationships. And when you are friends, you can talk it out,
yeah,
which is very important.
yes.
And yeah, my relationship, if I can say, being friends always helped, and it is helping. It's been 20 years of marriage, and by the grace of God, we are happy.
Yeah, very congratulations on that. And yeah, let's dig in into the book which we are going to discuss today, and its name
Right.
is Siya in Exile and
Yeah.
Behaya, which is the Hindi translation of it. So,
Right.
I would like to set a context for our viewers. What is it about? So, this story is inspired by real life events but told through fiction. It focuses on the lives of women who work to support their family. Sadly,
Right.
these women often face criticism and disrespect from their own families. The book asks tough questions about how society judges women. So imagine a world where husbands are seen as a god and wives are expected to be like the mythical character Sita, who sacrificed everything for her husband Ram. But what if husband is not kind like Ram? What if he treats his wife badly? Why do people think it's okay for women to suffer quietly? So I would like to ask, is there any any aspect of Sia in Exile where you have mentioned which is very close to your heart and you would like to share with us?
I would say the whole journey was actually it was a learning curve for me as well. You know a story because it is inspired by a real life story of somebody I closely knew. But when you write these things, you understand the trauma of that person much more than what you have always thought of. When you start writing it down, you understand what exactly somebody must have gone through. It is very different from what you talk about. It is very, very different. So, whole journey of writing, especially there is this phase where you must have read the diary, Sita's diary. Sia's diary name is Exile, right? So, writing the letters and the notes of that diary, that was very stressful. That was very traumatic. But at the same time, I would say I lived her life while writing that particular, chapter. And it's very close to my heart because those days I would say ki writers are not just the people who are writing something and not getting affected. When you write something, you go through, you live through that character. And when you live through the traumas of that character, of course, it affects your life, your personal life as well. So, those days, I know that 1 month when I was writing that chapter, I was not myself. And it, of course, affected my family. And it is very close to my heart.
So, do you believe that story of Sia is representative of many women's experiences in our society? Uh,
Almost
yeah,
everybody,
yeah,
almost everybody in some sense, because even I thought that there is a percentage of women, some 20, 30, 40% women who suffer the gaslighting, majorly mental abuse, and few of them go through this physical abuse and domestic violence, especially marital rape, right?
yeah.
But after writing this book, when this book reached so many readers, and I started getting emails and calls of women, mothers whose daughters were suffering, of women who were in like 3 months of their relationships and marriages and they were suffering, then I understood that there is some part of Sia's life that connects to a lot of women. Those who are in relationship, not necessarily everybody is married, but if even if they are in relationship, they have some kind of some abuse going on, and they want to understand the difference between abuse, being possessive, being, in love with somebody, and being abused. So yes, it connects with a lot of women. Many, I would say, is a small number, lot of women. If I can say the percentage, like if I get 10 calls, say every week, 9 women are suffering with some kind of violence. And from the intimate partner, I'm saying.
Yeah. So, if we are considering society globally, so it's not the
Mhm.
case only in India. Even across the globe, also
Right,
across the globe, women face this kind of sexual violence and domestic violence. So,
right.
have you done any survey kind of thing before writing, or was there any connection with any number of women which you have come across facing this kind of issues, and that has motivated you to start writing on this topic?
So when I wrote the book first, but when I started pitching it, I got a feedback that says that this kind of stories or this kind of incidents, they don't happen in India. I was told this is a story of West, it doesn't happen in India. Then I started with my survey that you are saying, and I think I spoke about it in some interview. I created this Google form and I circulated it vastly to different women in different countries through my friends, family, colleagues, people in journalism, in academics, across the globe. And they had questions related to what women fear the most. What is the kind of abuse they have faced? What do they do to prevent that kind of incidents, right? So that kind of questionnaire I made and I circulated it vastly. And I received similar answers from various women across the globe, from Ethiopia, from Australia, from India, from US, similar answer. Women, they scared acid attacks, they molestation, rapes, right? Very few women wrote about, theft. They are scared of theft, right? Very few women wrote about they are scared of getting murdered. Women were scared of getting molested, raped, or by acid attack. Even their measures to prevent that thing is not staying out late, and that I'm talking about also US and UK, right? Wearing certain kind of clothes when they are traveling alone so that they are not attacked. Not trying to getting into taking liquor late night alone or with male friends until there is somebody really trustworthy with them to prevent any kind of accident incident. So things were similar or same, and rape was topping the list. Then it was acid attack, then it was molestation. And I thought, this is the story. It is everywhere, it is same. They are stereotyped. For working, they are, stereotyped being a slut. They are being available because they are working, they are available for men, to hit on them. So certain things were same and similar across. And then I thought, let's go ahead with the publishing of this thing and let's see what is the feedback of real reader.
So, so we can say that though we are progressing, people are always talking about women empowerment, and even today, I guess it's a 8th March, it's an International Women's Day,
Right,
and
right.
nobody talks about what they are going through on daily basis, even within their own houses,
Right.
whether it is gaslighting, whether it is, or maybe, I mean, sexual abuse or psychological trauma. So, why do you think a women carry so much trauma due to societal status, and how does it affect their relationship with their partners? I mean, why?
So, okay, so I'm from Hindi belt, and let me answer that a bit in Hindi here. बॉलीवुड फिल्मों का हमारी सोसाइटी पे बहुत असर है, ठीक है। आप हमारा जो लिटरेचर पढ़ेंगे, जिसे हम लिटरेचर या साहित्य कहते हैं, उसमें आप देखेंगे जो नायिका है, जो हीरोइन है, जो मेन कैरेक्टर है, वुमन कैरेक्टर, उसको हमेशा एक देवी स्वरूप बनाया जाता है। एक ऐसी महिला जिसके अंदर कोई कमी नहीं हो सकती। उसे खाना बनाना आता है बेस्ट, वो बेस्ट माँ है, वो बेस्ट प्रेमिका है, वो बेस्ट वाइफ है, वो बेस्ट है। उससे गलतियां हो नहीं सकती। ना रहना, हर चीज की जिम्मेदारी उस महिला की है। अच्छे से अच्छा उनको रखना उस महिला की जिम्मेदारी है। और अगर वो ये करने से चूक जाती है तो वो खराब हो जाती है, वो खुद को ही कोसने लगती है। कहीं पर कुछ ऐसा रहता है कि ये उसके अंदर एक त्याग की भावना हो कि वो खुद खाना ना खाए, वो दूसरे को दे, वो खिलाए। तो ये सब हमने ओवर द इयर्स, अभी से नहीं, हजारों सालों से ये ऐसा लिखा है। फिर इतने सालों से हमने ऐसा दिखाया है कि हमने महिला की एक इमेज बना रखी है। अगर वो उसमें फिट होती है तब तो ठीक है, अगर वो उसमें नहीं फिट होती है तो वो परफेक्ट नहीं है और वो खुद को बैश करती है। लोग, एक आप देखते हैं ना कि माताओं को अगर वो बाहर निकल के जाएं काम करने के लिए, जिनका बच्चा छोटा छोड़ के नौकरी करने जाती हैं, उनको हमेशा एक गिल्ट होता रहता है कि यार मैंने बच्चे को छोड़ दिया, अकेला छोड़ दिया, मैं उसके पास नहीं हूँ। अगर आप कुछ खाते हैं तो आपको लगता है कि आपने बच्चे को छोड़ दिया। तो ये गिल्ट उनके अंदर भरा है कि अगर वो अपने लिए खाएंगे, अपने लिए जिएंगे, अपने लिए हंसेंगे, तो ये कहीं ना कहीं बुरा है, ये गलत है। ये हमने बहुत सालों में इस प्रकार से महिलाओं को कंडीशन किया है। और क्योंकि हमने ये कंडीशन किया है इस प्रकार से, इसलिए एक एक्सपेक्टेशन बनी हुई है सोसाइटी की कि द वुमन हैज टू बी अ सर्टेन वे। तो बहुत सारी चीजें वो सहती जाती है बिना ये दिखाए कि दरअसल उसको समस्या है। क्योंकि जैसे ही वो कहती है कि समस्या है, वैसे ही वो बुरी हो जाती है। उसके अंदर कमियां होती हैं क्योंकि उसके अंदर त्याग की भावना नहीं है, उसके अंदर धरती की तरह सहने की क्षमता नहीं है। तो ये चीजें हमने, ये नॉर्म्स एस्टेब्लिश किए हैं। हमारी पेट्रियार्कल सोसाइटी, इट टुक रियली लॉन्ग actually, to condition women through these norms. So every time a woman thinks that, oh, somebody's hit me, I should have been more competent. There must have been some mistake I have made. राइट उन्हें हमेशा लगता है कि मेरी गलती है और बहुत समय तक इसलिए ये लोग बोलते नहीं अभी भी नहीं बोलते पढ़ी लिखी महिलाएं भी नहीं बोलती हैं क्योंकि उन्हें लगता है कि जिस दिन मैंने बोला कि मेरे वर्क प्लेस पे मेरे साथ में अब्यूज हो रहा है उस दिन मुझे नौकरी छोड़नी पड़ेगी और फिर मुझे बताया जाएगा किसी तरह से वापस उस घर में बंद कर दिया जाएगा तो बहुत सारी चीजें सोचकर बहुत सारे डरों की वजह से महिलाएं नहीं बोल पाती कभी बच्चों के लिए चुप रह जाती हैं कभी घर के लिए कभी अपनी जॉब के लिए कभी अपनी छोटी बहन की पढ़ाई के लिए कि अगर मैं बता दूंगी कि मेरे साथ कॉलेज में ये हो रहा था मेरा प्रोफेसर ऐसा था कल को मेरी बहन को भी आगे नहीं पढ़ने दिया जाएगा कि माहौल खराब है लड़कियों को नहीं निकलना चाहिए तो बहुत सेक्रीफाइसेस ऑफ कोर्स करने पड़ते हैं इसके लिए भी कि जो हमारे बाद में लोग आ रहे हैं हमारी बेटियां आ रही हैं हमारी बहनें आ रही हैं कम से कम उनको फ्रीडम मिले राइट
Yes, of course. I meन moreover, we can say it's about societal conditioning, and it is somewhere also about, self guilt. Like, that is
Exactly.
expected from us. We have to perform it. We have to do it. These are our duties. As you have
Exactly.
mentioned, like the
Exactly.
yeah, as you have mentioned, like we have to be perfect in each and every aspects. Otherwise, we are not suitable for that particular role, whether it is mother, whether it is
I'll
wife.
tell you one example. I'll tell
Yeah.
you one example, my personal example. I am somebody who I do not count as a perfect person. I am a flawed personality and I am that way and I love myself, right? Still, when my daughter was born and I joined my job, right? She
Hmm.
was 2 months old.
Yeah.
So not my family, not my in-laws, not my husband, but people in my office started to tell me that I should leave the job and look after my kid. Why am I leaving my 2 month old child behind and coming to teach? And women, I'm talking about women who started pointing that thing out and always highlighting, and then you knowingly, unknowingly, such things seep into you. And then you feel, oh, am I doing something wrong? And then you are guilt ridden that, oh, I am leaving my small kid behind. I should not do that. I'm a bad mother, right? So even if your family is supportive, even if your partner is supportive, there are always some people who will find some problem with your behavior, with the way you live your life, with the way you conduct your life. So they always have some problem with that. So a person like me, who is least bothered about, other people's opinion, still I got guilt ridden and there was a time I wanted to leave my job and look after my kid. And I was like, oh, hello, what am I doing? Slowly, gradually, my mother pushed me to go back to the job. So
Yeah.
this happens. So this is conditioned whether or not you want to do it. Somewhere, somehow, it is unconsciously also, you start to follow what society wants.
Yeah, of course. And even this point I would like to highlight parental support is, utmost important to take your decisions.
Right,
I mean, it's not like that they are telling you something else and you are going in some other direction. That
right,
parental support has to be there, whether to, come out from the any toxic relationship or taking decisions, especially related to marital affairs, or you can as you have mentioned, like taking care of your child and all. So I mean, we can say, even when we talk about our patriarchal society, and we often come across with this kind of mindset, like they always say this has to be, women fault, that this must be done from her end. It is not like that. Okay, I mean, husband or
right,
man would be, responsible for any unhappened thing. I mean, can we say, I mean, societal mindset also has to be changed, though we are in 21st century. So where do you think, like, societal mindset has to be changed, societal behavior has to be changed towards working women or maybe non-working women?
right. So, not just working is, of course, not working as well, because working at home is also like full-time
Yes,
working. There's a lot
yes.
of work,
More
and that has
effort.
always been looked down upon, and
Yes.
it should not be. And coming back to parent support, see, I get calls from girls who are in relationships and marriages for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, wherein they have told their parents that they are going through this kind of abuse, be it physical, be it mental, and be it other things. And still, there are parents who do not want their daughters to come back home. So, this support, because in our society, and this is what these people say, their parents say कि if you'll come back home, people and the society would tell us that it is your fault. If you're getting divorced, it is your fault. If the relationship is not working, it is your fault. If your husband doesn't have a good, physical relationship with you, it is your fault. So everything is actually always bombarded. Women are bombarded with different kind of things and always blame for anything that, goes wrong.
Yeah, and that
If you even if you see, I'm sorry, sorry, I
no, no,
cutting
that's
you in
fine.
between.
Yeah.
Even for the children, if you see, if you score good marks, if you score good marks,
Yes.
you top your university, you get selected somewhere, it is always, this
Father's.
is what, father's credit.
Yeah.
And if you talk back, if you put your opinion across, if you opt for a boy who's not liked by your family, it is what your mother has taught you.
Yes.
So women are blamed. They are only there to be blamed, wherein the credit always goes to the surname and the father's name. So this has been happening. Things are slowly changing, but that speed is really, really slow. We have a lot to be changed, and we are already in 21st century. Let us see how soon we can change. I think women have to take the responsibility in their hands to change my family, to change, I am married to a man who had four sisters. He had a bhabi and a mother. There were six women in his house,
Wow.
and he belongs to a jamindar family, right? He did not know what to do and how to do, especially when it comes to the household things. But you have to change that course. When we started living together, we got married, we started doing everything together.
Equally.
So, equally. And there he learned. He's a better cook than me. He's, I think, better at babysitting than me, and a lot of other things, which women think it is their, forte. So he's better. You just have to train boys. So as mothers, as spouses, as sisters, all you need is that they need to be a little sensitive, extra sensitive towards women, kind, and they should know the work has no gender. It is equally their duty to contribute in the household.
Yeah, and as we always know, as a women, we have potential to, handle all kind of situation. But somewhere
Exactly.
we lag behind, taking our own decisions and to come out from any kind of suffering due to, societal pressure and all. So going forward, I would like to align this discussion going forward with the life of Sia, which you have mentioned in your book. So, what was the primary issue she was dealing with?
I would say abuse, a lot of violence and abuse, especially rape, because in marriages we do not count, uh, unconsented intimacy as rape, right? Somebody forcing yourself on you in a marriage is not counted as rape. So that is what that had hit me hard, knowing that there can be a man who can choose sex as a weapon of violence against his wife. it triggered me. And there it started.
And when and how did you meet with Sia?
So I have known this girl since college. I have worked with her and I knew her personally. She was a good friend.
So you were very close to her, I guess. I mean, yeah, you could have sensed her
Yes.
feeling day to day.
Not since her, we talked, we discussed, and one day when she came back from one of her trips, she told that on length, everything. So we used to talk about little small incidents happening with her, but when I got to know the real issues that she was going through, I would say I was traumatized. Only by listening, I was traumatized, and she was going through it like every day.
Was she able to I have gone through your book. I was like, I mean, is it really happening in our society? But I must say, this book is eye-opening. People should read this book and to, to get aware what is, sexual abuse and psychological trauma in our Indian society. I mean, women often face. So when we talk about Sia, where is she now, and was she able to recover from her situation?
I don't know. I am not in touch with her for over 13 years now. 13 years ago, we spoke about it last. Since then, she is on no platform and nobody is in touch with her.
Yeah.
That is sad. And I tried that. A lot of things you cannot change in real life. But through the book, I always prefer also talking about the solutions, not just the problems. There are problems, but we should look forward to the solution. So I have tried my level best to put across some solutions through that book that you can always change your ending. There are things you can't change. But if you want to rewrite your story, you can always change it. If you want it, you can change it. If you feel it, you will be able to do it. So that is what I have written, that there is always an alternative, you know,
So
and you can opt for that.
yeah, so in your opinion, as you have mentioned, she is not in any platform. We can
Right.
understand that she is still facing that situation,
Yes,
I guess.
yes,
So,
yes.
in your opinion, what do you think stopping her to come out from this relation?
See, other than her, after writing this book, and a lot of people reading this book after, especially after getting translated, it reached to, you know, many more number of people. I think lakhs of people have read it now, and I came across more stories, more people who are suffering much more than what she suffered, are still living in those families, in those relationships, right? And I came across very big and famous names also. People contacted and they told their stories and they're still suffering, but they are not ready to come out. So, somebody for the sake of their parents, somebody for the sake of their children, somebody who is one of my acquaintance, she's just divorced her abusive husband after 24 years of marriage. Can you imagine 24 years of marriage? She's suffered. But then she was inspired and she thought there is a way out and she moved out. So there are people who are taking inspiration and taking decisions. There are people who are trying to solve it through talks. I know one of my known person, she's not living with her husband, but she's not divorced, right? So what they are doing now, they are going to the counselor and they are working on their marriage. They are working on the issues that they had. So various people are finding various way through the book. But then there are people who are still holding back, who do not have that courage to move out. And I totally respect that. I totally respect that. They can take their time, but until you fight for yourself, you stand up for yourself, nobody else on your behalf can do it.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, as you have mentioned, like people are still holding that relationship,
Yes.
still they have
Yes.
hope. So I would like to say on this note, like it is rightly said that the spirit of sharing and understanding, you know, leads to better adjustment and make the society and institution of marriage happier and more prosperous. But what if that problem is within ourselves? What if that
Mhm.
problem is with that person where women, facing every day? I guess nobody can solve her problem apart from
Exactly,
herself.
exactly, exactly. So at times, these people, see, with men, what I have seen till date, like women are conditioned for certain kind of behavior, for, feeling certain way. Even men in our society, they are conditioned to be certain way. And many men, if when I say many, I mean 9 out of 10 at least, right? They unknowingly, unintentionally say things or do things that may hurt a woman, but they don't know. So when you bring it up to them, they understand. So there are people you can talk it out with, but then there are people, even after discussing things, even after telling everything, still they do not change because they they are bossy by attitude. They think they are the owner of that woman and they behave in a certain way, right? Those men cannot be changed. And there women have to stand up for themselves. It will not solve only by talking things out, right? Only by going to the marriage counselor or somebody. At times you have to take decision of leaving a few things. And not everybody has that courage, and especially women with stature. When I say women with stature, people are very image conscious these days.
Yeah.
They want to portray themselves a certain way. For example, say if I am an advocate, राइट दिस जस्ट एन एग्जाम्पल मान लेते हैं कि मैं एक बहुत नामी वकील हूँ जिसने बहुत बड़े बड़े केस लड़े हैं ठीक है और मेरी दुनिया में अच्छी खासी पहचान है लोग मुझे ट्विटर पे इंस्टाग्राम पे हर जगह जानते हैं और उन्होंने मेरी जो तस्वीरें देखी हैं और जो मेरे हस्बैंड की तस्वीरें देखी हैं वो हमेशा वेकेशन मोड में सेलिब्रेशन मोड में उस तरह से देखी हैं अब अगर दुनिया को पता चलता है कि ये औरत जो इतनी empowered दिखती है दूसरों की लड़ाइयों के लिए लड़ रही है the same woman is actually going through abuse तो मेरी इमेज का क्या होगा इस चीज से बाहर निकल पाना ज्यादा मुश्किल हो जाता है बहुत बारी उस इमेज को तोड़ना क्योंकि आपकी जो सोसाइटी में एक इमेज है आप उससे बाहर नहीं जाना चाहते आप किसी को नहीं दिखाना चाहते कि यार मैं दिखती जैसी हूं मैं वैसी नहीं हूं मैं कमजोर हूं ये इतनी बड़ी कमी है पर जितनी भी पढ़ी लिखी औरतों को मैं देखती हूँ जो इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम से जूझ रही हैं उनकी सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे कि यार लोग क्या सोचेंगे मैंने ये सहा है मुझे मार पड़ती है मैं तो किसी को मुंह दिखाने लायक नहीं रहूंगी बट देन आई नो वुमेन जो पिट के आती थी मतलब मैंने चैनल में भी देखा है और मैं एकेडमिक्स में भी देखती हूँ जो पिट के आती हैं खाना बना के आती हैं मेकअप करके आती हैं फिर शाम को उसी घर में वापस जाती हैं तो आप उनको समझा सकते हैं किसी को आप सिर्फ बता सकते हैं आप समझा सकते हैं मेरे ऊपर वैसे भी लेबल लगा हुआ है इस समय कि घर तोड़ने वाली औरत just
No.
because you educate people about their right that means you are trying to break institution of marriage no I am not but then किसी से डर के रहना ये किस प्रकार की शादी है कि आप अपने घर में अपनी तरह से नहीं रह सकते क्या फायदा है ऐसे पैसे भी कमाने का क्या फायदा है आई नो women who are financially independent but being financially independent, just because you're earning your money, doesn't mean you are financially independent because you can't take your decision. You can't decide what dress you want to wear and buy. You can't decide where you want to invest your money. When you can't decide anything about your money as well, What is the point? This is not financially independent. Yes, you are earning. You're contributing to your family financially. But are you independent? No, you are not.
Yeah, and as you have rightly mentioned, like people are, I mean, telling you like ghar todne wali. But I must say, I mean, when women are, outspoken, they are labeled as, dominating. And when they are not outspoken or they are very shy, then they are most of the time ignored.
So I would again correct here, not outspoken. A woman being assertive is outspoken.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
you are labeled.
yeah, I mean, if we are not
Yes,
talking about our rights, our situation,
right.
then people are like, okay, it doesn't count in our society. And if we are speaking about our rights, they are always thinking on ourselves. Even look at the women like, okay, they are not under control. They are out of, their own world. So, I mean, this is the I guess these are the issues which we face every day and nobody
I'm very
talks
happy.
about it.
No, no, no. I am very happy that I face these things, and I'm very, no, proudly facing every such thing. Because, see, being a woman in a society, then also being a woman with opinion and education and talking about rights is, it has been evil. Such women were always called witches. वो औरतें जो पेड़ से बांध के जिंदा जला दी जाती थी, चाहे वो आप यूके की सोसाइटीज में देख लें, क्रिश्चियन सोसाइटीज में देख लें, चाहे वो आप इस्लामिक सोसाइटीज में देख लें, चाहे आप इंडियन में देख लें, वो औरतें जिन्हें विचेस कहा गया, जिन्हें चुड़ैल कहा गया, क्योंकि वो बोलती थी, इसलिए उन्हें किसी तरह से चुप करा दिया गया। तो ये लेबल्स हैं, ये तमगे हैं, ये बेहया जो हमने टाइटल हिंदी में चुना था, उसका रीजन भी यही था कि दीज आर दी ये तमगे हैं, ये वो स्टीरियोटाइपिंग है जो की जाती है। अ वुमन वेयरिंग अ स्लीवलेस विद अ टैटू, इफ यू सी द कवर ऑफ
Yeah,
बेहया,
yeah.
so there is a woman. I faced a lot of trolling for that, you know, just because there is a woman with a wine glass in her hand. She's wearing a sari, but she has a tattoo. And I was trolled because an Indian woman, a Hindu woman, whose name is Siya, cannot be portrayed like that.
Yeah, I mean that is a mindset people always have.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and one of the top news channels, they have this segment of literature, right? Their anchor, while he was talking about the book, the smirk on his face, I can actually never forget that thing. He's looking at the book, he's showing it to the viewers and saying, कवर देखकर तो आपको पता ही चल गया होगा कि इसके अंदर की स्टोरी क्या होगी.
Okay.
So a man who is called seasoned and, a literature genius or whatever, it was his comment on the cover. Without even reading the book, without knowing the content, this is what he said. Cover देख के तो आपको पता ही चल गया होगा. And that smirk, I can't even forget. It was so, so, so ugly and annoying. But nothing happens, right? I wrote them long email stating my issues and my concerns. Still, they were like, no, no, in the news, big news channels, at least somebody talked about your book. I was like, okay, thank you so much. I'm grateful.
I mean that's how we have to compromise.
No, compromise. This is how at least we sort of hold ourselves together.
Yeah.
Because if you keep going to everybody and fighting about everything, no point.
No point.
Because
Exactly.
these people, they have a mindset that you can't change.
Yeah.
So it's better always ignore them. And I'm really glad after 3 years of what he did on national television, my book is best-selling and it is on number 2, right? And I'm the only woman in that category. So you did whatever to the content still. The content always, finds its way.
Yes. So, ma'am, with this note, I would recommend this book to every girl and women to read. This book is dedicated to all women, making the realization that your voice matters, your experience is valid and true, and you are courageous, kind, and beautiful. And of course, you are not alone. Be sure
Right.
to check out the link in the comment box to buy Siya in Exile and Behaya, also available in Hindi online. Since this podcast focuses on the contribution of human and organizational behavior in making individuals valuable resources, what message would you like to convey to both men and women regarding societal and organizational behavior and its impact on individual?
First thing, be very sensitive about what you say and how you behave. Even if you can, make difference by respecting people around you. And when I say people, man, women, both. Start respecting people. Everybody has their, share of struggle. They are going through a lot. Please do not add to their struggles. Be gentle, be kind, be very sensitive towards people. And stop the denial mode. If you're facing any problem, any issue, start accepting, yes, there is a problem. And when you will accept there is a problem, you will start working on the solutions. You want to talk it out? Please talk it out. You have people to or mentor, go discuss it. If you can't discuss it, write it. Every time you will talk about your problem or you'll write your problem, trust me, 80-90% solution you'll figure out yourself the moment you say it aloud.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for being my guest here and sharing your insightful thoughts on this. I hope it will
Thank
be
you so much.
beneficial for all viewers, including me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.